Welcome to the RotoWire, a fantasy soccer show. I'm Adam Zdroik, joined by Ryan Belongia. We're here to talk about Wednesday's Champions League slate, but first we got to get through what just happened on Tuesday's slate. Ryan, we haven't talked about it yet. We had some winners for RotoWire. Did you come away with anything today?
No, man. I'm so frustrated with myself. No, I was close. The main lineup I was going to go with would have just won me everything, and I switched it right at the end. I mean, you only needed four pieces. You only needed Kimmich, Coman, Milan keeper, Milan defense. I mean, at
Yeah.
least in the small field stuff, would have got me a ticket, would have got me a nice cash in the big one, but I changed right at the end. But yeah, I mean, I saw in the Discord, it seems like people did really well. I mean, we were spot on with pretty much everything. Just need a PSG goal. I mean,
Yeah.
really, really annoying. I mean, Messi should have scored, Mbappe scored, but it was like a centimeter offside. I mean, yeah, I didn't play any summer, so that was brutal for him to get the win clean sheet.
Mhm.
But I mean, so close. I mean, we said Kimmich was just a lock, and he was. Milan. Yeah, I don't know. It was one of those. Yeah, frustrating to get like everything right, but just I made the wrong decisions for like my most important lineups. You know, when there's a $555 tournament and 245 qualifier, I mean, my day rests on one lineup a lot of times if I don't do anything in the main GPP. But yeah, that's how it goes. Just it was my own fault. Just got a little too conservative at the end. I talked about Coleman on here too, and then I just
Yeah.
I'm ready to pull the trigger the whole time, and about 5-10 minutes before locker, so I changed my mind. It's just so annoying, so annoying. But yeah, what about you? How'd it go?
Not as good as it went. I think for all the cash game players, I think that what we said yesterday it worked for everyone. I think you were near the top of the list. I got up there with the clean sheet, even with Akimi. I mean, it was as you said, it was pretty easy. I don't know what the losers in cash games did because it seemed pretty easy. It seemed pretty easy to get there. Like I don't know where everyone else went. I know Kimmich was 80+%. All the main guys were 80+%. I guess it was the people they didn't go to Perisic. Maybe they went to Tonali, something like that. Some
I
weird
didn't see how
stuff.
popular Diaz was.
He was not that in cash games. He definitely wasn't popular. He was
Yeah,
probably sub 20% if I remember correctly. But yeah, Shoes mentioning in here, the ultra fish bailout. One of my decisions on the slate was, we saw Brahim Diaz. He was the cheapest attacking guy for AC Milan, and I think he was 4,100. So like my thought process when building the lineups was like, well, he's gonna be a little too popular, so I'm gonna try. And I like AC Milan, so I'm gonna try and get Alexis Salamakers in here, and uh, maybe Drew, or maybe not Drew, or whoever else. I also put Rafael Leao in that one. We talked about him yesterday, and just Diaz got the early goal, and that led to more better floors for Son and Perisic and that kind of a thing. And
Emerson as
Salamaker,
well.
yep, Emerson Salamakers ended up putting in a massive dud. So if you took that route, I mean, the thought process was, and it ended up not mattering because I think Salamakers was probably about the same percentages as Brahim Diaz. So just like
Mm-hmm.
overthinking percentages and rostership and that kind of thing, just come back to bite me a little bit. But uh,
I'm just laughing at that comment, the ultra fish bailout. I mean, I don't really think so, just because there was nothing else. There was nothing you were sacrificing. There was like what were you missing if you put in Diaz? It wasn't like there was a good punt below him, and it wasn't like if you had Perisic. I mean, if
well, the
you also
good
had.
punt was our guy Pape Sarr. I think he had an 8-point floor.
Oh yeah, okay. I guess maybe you could say you play Kimmich and Perisic in the midfield spots and then maybe a third defender. But I mean, I don't know. I think Diaz was fine. He's playing in the front three.
Yeah, I saw
Cheap against Spurs.
One of the winning lineups had the Malik Thau guy for AC Milan, the center back. I think he finished on 11 with the clean
Yeah,
sheet. So just,
yeah.
and I mean, that's what you get on a 2-game slate when both games are 2 or 1-0, and you get an early goal in that AC Milan one. So it's maybe not as, I don't know, AC Milan's maybe not as getting as many attacking opportunities as you'd want overall because they're fine with the 1-0 win, really, is kind of what it came down to. But
Did you watch either of the games, by the way?
yeah, so Paramount Plus, they have this
That's what I was gonna say.
yeah, the split screen. Yeah, it was pretty
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, that was pretty nice. And just I mean, what stuck out to me is Rafael Leao is just filthy. I mean, we were talking about it. I remember talking about it on the show yesterday. I don't know if he did anything for DFS, but
I think
man,
he
he
had like
looked good
8
out there.
maybe.
Yeah, he looked good out there. I mean, just a nightmare to defend. But yeah, I don't know. It's just frustrating, but I'm over it. On to the next one,
On to the next one. Today does not matter. So for this one, it's a little different. We don't have the Neymars and the Messis to worry about. We don't have the Kimmich even to plug into our lineups. We have Benfica as an away favorite, the biggest favorite on the slate, 52% chance to win, 34% clean sheet at Bruges. Borussia Dortmund are home against Chelsea. They're slightly favored. Both the implied totals are kind of in the same range. So it's, I don't know, maybe not a completely different slate, but you just don't have the name brand guys who ever, that people are going to plug in Neymar and Messi. You know that people are going to plug in Kimmich. It's not really the same situation. We're going to have, especially in cash games, it's going to be a little different because no one really stands out. And I know neither one of us has really dove into things yet, but I mean, what are your just thoughts on
Yeah,
this
so a
slate
couple
here?
things stand out to me. Just like in general, the pricing's really soft, so you can just play whoever you want.
Mhm.
But also, there's not much that stands out. Just looking at the odds. Looking at the odds, I was somewhat surprised to see Benfica with like a 1.7 total on the road, against Bruges. You look at Bruges in the group stage, they kept 6 clean sheets in 5 games. I mean, they kept 2 clean sheets against Atletico, 2 against Leverkusen, 1 against Porto.
Of
So,
note,
yeah, I mean, no?
I want to say Bruges, they sacked their manager. They now have Scott Parker. Scott Parker, formerly of Fulham, is their manager. He's been their manager since I think the last day in December.
So have they been struggling? I assume that's kind of weird.
Yeah, I think they were 4th in their league table when they got rid of their guy, and it's been. I mean, if you look at their results in the past month, they've been struggling to win pretty much. There's a bunch of draws in there, just
Yeah.
kind of
So it's weird
slogging around.
because during the group stage, I was targeting Bruges, especially at the start. I remember bringing it up a few times because the year before they gave up a ton of goals in Champions League. I mean, their defense was awful, so kind of expected that this season, and then they keep 5 clean sheets. But yeah, I don't know. It sounds like they haven't been doing so well in the league if they got a new manager after that, amazing Champions League group stage they had. But anyways, like, yeah, so you have Benfica with a 1.7 total, and then just in general, you look at the goal scoring odds, and no one has better than plus 220. I mean, so like the slate's wide open.
Mhm.
Also, we don't have like floor players that you necessarily want to jam in. Like for the biggest favorite, I mean, it's skipping ahead a little, but Benfica's the biggest favorite. Chiquinho's been taking most of their corners. He's 4K, plays defensive mid. I mean, normally you'd want the set piece taker for the
The
biggest
biggest favorite.
favorite, and maybe you still do for cash games, but I don't think you do for tournaments. So yeah, it's wide open. And then we have Chelsea. Man, I hate Chelsea. For DFS specifically, like I talk about it all the time, and it hasn't changed for me. Chelsea slates, I do the worst on. I like. I don't know. I need to maybe come up with a new strategy for these Chelsea games. I seem to get them wrong all the time. They looked really good against West Ham weekend, but they've been inconsistent, up and down. I don't know. What do you think?
I want to point out, so you mentioned all the shots that or all the goals that Bruges allowed 2 years ago, but I'm just looking at the numbers for Simone Mignolet here. 27 saves last season's Champions League, 20 goals allowed. This
Okay.
season, 30 saves, 4 goals allowed.
Wow. Yeah, that's quite the difference. So, 20 goals allowed last year in those 6 group games or whatever. And then,
Yeah, but 3 more saves. He's making 5
so
saves a
they've,
match.
so they've probably been pretty fortunate to keep those clean sheets.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, they didn't score in their final 3 matches. I mean, we had a couple scoreless draws for them there because they got a couple early wins. So I guess they could play a little more defensive, but clearly that's not what the ownership wanted out of them. So yeah, Jack Burkhardt saying their league form is pretty bad, and I was just going through some of their recent games, a lot of draws. They're allowing plenty of opportunities to two league teams, which is, I mean, then you look at Benfica, and Benfica have been playing pretty well all season. They do lose Enzo Fernandez, and that's kind of why we get Chiquinho in the
Mm-hmm.
midfield. So, I mean, that's relevant, but for the most part, it seems like they're still, I think, 5 points clear at the top of the Portuguese league. So they're still playing as well as they were earlier in the
Yeah,
season.
yeah.
So.
Odds make sense, with all that being said. Benfica's a better team. Benfica's tough to score against too.
Mhm.
I
We also got the Wolverhampton man, the Goncalo Guedes, who we'll probably have to mention here as well.
mm-hmm.
So,
And
yeah, for that Chelsea one, I think it's interesting because so you kind of look at Dortmund, it's like, well, they're kind of in a lot of. It seems like for the most part, maybe if you don't look into a lot of their numbers, like they're in a lot of high scoring matches, kind of a thing, and. But I mean, you look at some of their group stage matches, and recently it's been a little more defensive. I just thought, like, before I looked at it in my mind, it was okay. Borussia Dortmund, 3-4 goals in a lot of their matches because they're not great defensively, but they love to score, kind of a thing. But it's not really how it's been. So I think that is, I don't know, interesting here because we know how Chelsea play. We know it's going to be sometimes it's going to be a slog under Graham Potter. Though, I mean, with Joao Felix in there, they have at least been getting more opportunities. So I wonder maybe that's going to open things up a little bit. We'll see. I mean, we can get into that right now. So at forward, we got Joao Felix at 6,400, and he took all set pieces over the weekend, I believe it was, and then Ziyech came off the bench. So I think no matter who starts, as long as Felix starts in cash games, I think maybe even in all games, should we just plug in Felix here at 6,400? Though, if money doesn't matter, does it matter that he's 6,400 here?
yeah, no, I agree with everything you said. I think you just plug him in. He's too cheap, and it
He's
doesn't
just been
really.
ripping shots too.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. Pricing doesn't really matter anyways. But yeah, the fact that 6,400 is just too cheap if he's going to take sets. Yes, split set pieces if Ziyech is in there, that's enough. Yeah, ripping
Mhm.
shots like you said. He draws fouls, crosses. He's got a nice floor. Like, what do you think? So, what do you think of that game though in general? Do you have any takes on how it's going to go or who's going to win?
Um, not like I
I mean,
said
I just
about.
asked because, like, I
I
think
just don't
Chelsea,
think
like,
that Dortmund are going to get like a ton of opportunities, though. That's
no,
kind of what
neither
I
do
keep
I.
coming back to.
Like, I'm always wrong about these Chelsea games, but I feel like they're a little undervalued. I'm just seeing Dortmund like plus 140, Chelsea plus 210. Like, I can see, I don't know, like, I kind of see Chelsea with a little bit more possession and maybe creating a few more chances. That being said, I haven't watched Dortmund many times this season.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Chelsea just seemed a little bit undervalued. Anyway, Felix, though, first guy in for cash games, probably at forward.
Mm-hmm. Other other than
Like
that, it's kind of you just
after
gotta.
that,
There's no one that stands out. Is kind of
yeah,
what
to
it
me,
is.
like even though Bruges is the biggest underdog, Noah Lang has been taking most of their set pieces, most of their corners at least. Um, playing as like an attacking winger, playing in the front three. I wouldn't mind throwing him in there for 5,800.
Yeah, on a normal slate, I'd say we got Tajon Buchanan, the Canadian, down here at 4,100. But it's almost like
Do you
where
even
are you
need
going to
it?
spend the money uh,
Right.
if you have Buchanan? Because it's not like we're going all out at midfield because there's Christian Pulisic. Pulisic is the most expensive midfielder, so uh, there's nowhere to spend your money, I guess.
Yeah. So, both of us are kind of just looking at this slate, but what other forwards are even in play for cash?
I think if you have the money, I mean,
David
uh,
Neres? I mean,
well, I was gonna say
if you have the money,
Guedes.
who?
I was gonna say Guedes here. Um, I guess I was also gonna look up how often he's been getting subbed off, but I mean, this is a guy who was playing in the Premier League. I'm pulling up his game logs here. Went over the week, or I guess February 9th, so end of last week. He went 33 minutes off the bench. Uh, so he started 3 straight matches, 73 minutes, 67 minutes, 74 minutes.
Yeah.
So with
Um,
these Benfica guys, the problem is that we have the Goncalo Ramos, we have the whoever's not projected to start. We have so like we got Neres as well. So we have the sub risk as an issue here as well. So
yeah, they're all sub risks for sure. I think Neres has the highest floor. I mean, so what are we assuming? Like for set pieces, Chiquinho is going to take most. I mean, yeah, Neres may take. I saw Neres took one corner
I
one
think
of
the
the
guy I
last couple
want to
games in the
play, the
league.
guy I want to play, and the guy Jack Burkhart wants to play is Joe Mario here. Um, he's
I
been
couldn't tell
lining
if you
up.
got.
Couldn't tell if
I
we were
couldn't.
serious or not.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if you were serious or not. I saw it. He had a big game in the league, like a couple goals and an assist.
I just think he's one of the guys that's almost guaranteed for a 90. He's playing in all these matches, going almost the entire way, and playing in an attacking role as well. I want to say he was in more of a maybe not defensive, but I mean you can look at his game log through group stages as well. Like he's getting opportunities even without set pieces. He's been pretty attack heavy, 7,100. Again, this is midfield, so it doesn't really go into the initial conversation here, but I'm
Okay, I see
almost
it.
like, what else are you going to do in midfield? If I mean, we can jump around here, but no one else stands out unless Ziyech starts, and you can play both those guys because you're going to have the money.
Like, what do you? I mean, do you want Julian Brandt's share of set pieces?
Do I want them for
Yeah,
6,800 against
I mean,
Chelsea?
yeah, like
I don't.
we
Well, I
we
don't
don't.
think any of these guys are musts, but the fact that Bruges allows so much, pretty much no matter who they play, they're allowing five, however many shots every game, however many crosses. You got to think Mario without set pieces is going to have a floor in the 8 to 10 point range, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
No.
okay. You're selling me a little bit. Makes sense. You want some Benfica. I mean, John Mario without set pieces for 7,100 is just hard to click, but I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias. There's not
I
much else
mean,
here. I don't know. Like Ziyech.
I
Like,
guess
what
you.
about Ziyech? What are you going to do with Ziyech if he starts?
Yeah, so I guess it comes down to, at least in cash games, Ziyech if he starts, Mario, and then Brant. I guess that's the main question here.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, who is the? I'm not like who would take sets if Noah Lang didn't. I see Jack says Noah Lang starts at center forward. He won't take sets.
Yeah, he'd probably because Yaremchuk, he'd take the spot of Yaremchuk. That would mean I believe Jutgla would move in as well. He's coming off a hip issue, so we'll see what happens with that.
Okay. Maybe it doesn't really matter. Skav Olsen, maybe? I mean, who would be in that case? I don't even
Bob
know.
Olsen's out, so it's
I'm just trying to check real quick.
yeah. So just to go back, we're just going all over the place here at forward, since we still haven't really pointed out a second forward that we'd actually want to use. I guess it almost comes back to these Bruges guys, like Noah
Oh,
Lang.
sorry. Matt's Ritz took sets when Lang started at center forward. Matt's Ritz. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, if we want, he's 4,600
But yeah,
midfield.
I don't think I wouldn't want that either. Like we're not trying to save salary really. Like just who are the best two midfield plays? Maybe João Mario. Maybe you guys are right.
It could be a three midfield slate. I mean, you could if you plug in Buchanan, even Noah Lang as your second forward, because Felix is already 6,400. You're gonna have the money, so you can use all three of these midfielders. Actually, is kind of what I'm. It's kind of where it comes to.
Yeah, it's just if you
Unless,
want three defenders or not, because
do you
there's
want three
three.
defenders though? There's
Maybe,
three. Okay,
maybe. Should we? I guess we could jump around there. I mean,
screw it. Let's
so
jump around.
Guerrero's been splitting sets with Brandt, so he's in consideration. And then you have Grimaldo for, all the reasons we've said with Benfica in the best spot, and then Reece James. So I don't know, like if you want Reece James, Grimaldo, and Guerrero, they seem like decent options. No,
Do you want Reece James for 6,600?
well,
I pulled up his
he would.
game
I
log
think
here, his last
like
two games.
like it depends. Like I think he might split sets if Ziyech didn't start. I think he was splitting with João Felix when Ziyech wasn't on the pitch. But you never know with Reece James because
Right. Felix took
Gallagher.
all of them against West Ham. So,
I thought Reece took a couple. No, okay. Well,
I mean, let me double check here, but
maybe we don't want Reece then. I don't know.
all right. Well, it was 7-2. Um, yeah, it's not. It might have just been a regular set piece because it's not even showing up as a corner for him. So,
Yeah, it might have just I like a longer free kick. So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know if you don't really need Reece. I don't know if you might want Reece depending on how Chelsea line up though. He still
I
might be a
mean,
decent option.
I just made my cash lineup as we're talking here. Filled it out. We're good to go. Do you want it? You
Okay.
want to hear it?
No, just hold on. I think I know what it is. Just give me a second.
Yeah. Once you know I'm not playing Reese, it's kind of easy.
Um,
Oh wait, I
does it
plugged
have
in.
does it have Ziyech?
Wait. Oh no. I plugged in Jude Bellingham instead of Brent. Hold up. I'm 200 over. 200
So
over.
there you go. You just have to switch. Yeah, I know that's the lineup I was looking at. You just play Reece James over Brandt or Reece James over Bellingham.
Okay. Yeah.
That doesn't seem so bad. You just don't have
Yeah, that's zero
Julian Brandt,
left.
which doesn't seem like.
The worst thing.
No, I'm not too worried about that. Yeah, I
Easy
mean, it
enough.
looks like it. I mean, what are this slate's like? Yeah, easy enough. It's such a weird slate. Like that lineup's not really missing anything.
Let me.
I don't think you like. Are people going to play a Benfica forward?
They're the biggest favorite.
Yeah, but I mean,
Is it even worth it to guess what people are gonna do here? I'm looking at
no.
today's cash percentages here. I mean, pretty much, the big three, Messi, Neymar, Kimmich, all 80, more than 80%. Perisic was the big one. He was sub 50%. Teo Hernandez was 75. I guess it was a pretty fine margin for the actual cutoff. I mean, I'm not sure if there's one guy who 45% went Hakimi, so that's interesting. 32% were on Cancelo. I'm just trying to figure out like what the if the public if this is the route that everyone's going to take. I guess it's
Um,
not obvious that, Noah Lang, maybe Noah Lang's the guy that kind of stands out that people aren't going to
yeah,
play.
maybe, maybe he's not a good play. I don't know. Maybe you play a Benfica forward, and like, what do you do with Chiquinho?
Plug him in, utility.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a slate where I like you're just gonna have to. There's a lot of decisions that aren't very clear cut. I mean, it's sort of just play who you want in a way.
Yeah, I mean, we're having this discussion like it's guaranteed that Ziyech is going to start. So, I
Right.
mean, a couple weeks ago he was on his way to PSG. So, and he didn't start over the weekend as well. So we'll see what his actual role is in the side. We haven't mentioned like but we'll see what Chelsea do. Like Gallagher didn't start over the weekend. Mason Mount didn't start over the weekend. We
Yeah,
could
like
see some different things.
I don't even know if you would need to play Ziyech. I mean, what if you could just jam a bunch of Benfica in? Like maybe you do play one of the Benfica forwards, and
So you don't think Ziyech is worth it with a split of set pieces, kind of?
I don't know if he is or not. I mean, he might be. I don't think he's like a lock though. I don't know. I don't know, man. My head's all over the place. What do you think?
I'd probably agree just because with Chelsea and all these players that they have, like the guaranteed 90 isn't really there.
Yeah, like I'd be shocked if he played 90. With all the
So you
attackers they
have,
have now.
I mean, whoever starts, like Mudryk, Ziyech, Madueke, uh, like these guys, 60, 70 minutes kind of a thing. So, yeah, do you think away from home, Ziyech,
like
split set pieces?
Enzo Fernandez might have a similar floor to Ziyech. I don't know. He has the first 3 games he's played.
3, 2.
I
Wasn't
thought
there
he played
3?
one in the cup too. Maybe I thought he played one in the cup as well, but maybe it was only 2.
I think he just came off the bench, but either way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, no, I don't know, man. I wish I could. I wish I had like more definitive takes. It's one of those things like, dude, I don't know about Chelsea, man. I get Chelsea wrong all the time. Like
So we
I don't really
mentioned,
want to sway people.
right, we mentioned all these midfielders, and at least in cash games, like we have Chiquinho down here. If Chiquinho's down here, then there's really no other reason to consider anyone else.
No, yeah, there no. There's
Unless you want like Arsenes, who is more of an attacking player at 3,400. Just to save $600, I guess, is an option.
I don't think so. I think maybe you just play Chiquinho.
We need the exact Chiquinho stats from league play to figure this out.
I mean, he's went 90 in his last 2 starts.
Yeah, it
I
seems like
checked that.
he's the replacement. He went 120. Uh,
Yeah.
I assume it was a cut match or something against Braga. So he's just the Enzo replacement. He's in there. It looks like
Like
he's
I'm only
guaranteed.
saying that because like look at this slate that has like nothing. Wouldn't you want the guy who takes the most corners on the whole slate like in cash games? I don't know.
Seems like a
I
good
mean, I guess it could
strategy.
be Felix, right? But like, wouldn't you probably want the set piece taker from the biggest favorite on a slate where like we're struggling to find guys we want? I don't know. That's just kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. Like I'm looking at a totally different lineup now. You ready for this one? This might be the lineup.
What do we
Just tell
got?
me when you're ready.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, it's Felix and Neres, Chiquinho, Mario, Ziyech, Grimaldo, Guerrero, Flacadimos. Fits perfectly. I mean, that might, and he doesn't have Noah Lang. I guess, like, do we want Noah Lang? Maybe. I don't know. Do you want Julian Brandt? Maybe. I don't know, though.
Do you want David Neres?
I mean, this is what I'm saying. Do you want a bit, like, I prefer him slightly to Guedes. Like, who's the second forward after Felix? It's kind of like,
Neres
doesn't really
has an
matter.
assist in 3 straight, but he's also an early sub risk as well.
Yeah, they all are.
Yeah.
Except like João Mario. But I mean, they're forwards. All the Benfica forwards are.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their recent cup match. I guess they.
But like, I'm just, you'd figure that removing set pieces, like Neres and Guedes probably have the highest floor of any forwards still, right?
You don't like Aubameyang?
Oh, is that a serious question? Oh man, it's too bad. I mean, that was one thing we were right about. I mean, he's just never going to play for Chelsea again, right?
No, he's done. He's
he
done.
shouldn't. Like, he's so bad. Reminds me though, no, I was gonna reminded me of Willian because we were talking about Aubameyang and Willian during that time. Willian, though, he got a second life. He's looked great, but anyways, yeah, like, it's weird, but maybe you want a lot of Benfica.
Okay. All right.
I think Jack is. Oh, Jack. I don't know which one Jack's looking at.
I think it was the one you just gave.
Felix took all corners for Chelsea with Madueke standing next to him. By the way, that was like maybe the first or second time I've seen Madueke play. He looked pretty impressive. He looks like he's got some big potential. He's a handful to deal with. He's going to be like, he is big and athletic and
6K. Do you want to play him?
I mean, I'd be fine playing him in tournaments. That's a guy that has upside. Madueke. He's going to score some goals and provide some assists. But yeah, I don't know. He probably won't start. Maybe though, like, you never know with this Chelsea lineup. Like that last game against West Ham, I know West Ham is bad, and I know it ended 1-1, but I mean Chelsea pretty much dominated. They looked pretty good for a lot of that match.
Oh, Aubameyang has got deregistered. I was joking anyway,
good.
But yeah. Okay, so we kind of talked a little bit about everything here. We've really only talked about Reece James, Grimaldo, and Guerrero at defender. I don't think we have to talk about Cucurella.
I won't be playing Cucurella.
We could see Chilwell start. I don't want to play Chilwell either at 5,800 when he's going to be subbed off. It seems like Chilwell and Cucurella, whoever starts is going to be subbed off for the other. Not in play for me.
Has Cucurella had a good game all season? I mean, and he's one of those guys that people just like continue to play, especially at the start of the season. People were just jamming him in, but I mean, Cucurella got booed off the pitch over the weekend against West Ham. It's pretty harsh, actually.
All right. Well, apparently Madueke is not in the Chelsea squad either, so we don't have to worry about him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks. This guy's saving us. Thanks, G. Didn't have time to do too much research before this.
Yeah, Badiashili's out as well. So the other defenders to actually consider, I'd say we got Alexander Ba, the opposite side of Grimaldo. We got, I guess, Ryerson's at 4K, Ba's 4,500. We'll see who starts for Bruges. We got Meyer and Mata. Mata's 3,800, Meyer's 4,100. So those are pretty much the fullbacks that we want to consider. Is that kind of it? Or, I mean, is there a reason to play center backs? Is there a reason to go with, a sub 3K center back? Because, it seemed to work in a couple spots today, but
I don't with the pricing on this site, like, I don't really think so. I think you just want all the raw points. And I wish I would have clarified myself yesterday, like, because I played that I played a few center backs, especially that 2,500 guy in the main GPP. When I was talking about not playing center backs, I meant for smaller field stuff. Like I should have clarified that, and that's what I did. But yeah, like this slate, I don't know, man. Like I don't really see a reason unless you're jamming all the expensive guys, but you're going to need goals for that to happen. You just got to know what your specific lineup needs. Like I kind of want the raw points from these fullbacks.
Right. This two gamer is almost like I remember the first Champions League
But
slate this season. It was Benfica were the biggest favorite. It was a 6-game slate. Benfica were the biggest favorite, and people just kind of went with the odds. And I was like, yeah, Benfica gonna smash in this spot. And I think they scored 1 or 2 goals, kind of a thing. But for tournaments, is it worth getting off of Benfica and finding someone else, or just because that Bruges allows so many opportunities that it's not really worth it to move off of Benfica?
I mean, I think it's worth it. It sure would have been worth it to move off of PSG today. Just, for game theory reasons alone, I mean. And I mean, what is it going to shock you if that game ends 0-0, or I don't know, if Benfica score 1 goal? I don't
I
know. It
think that's what's
wouldn't.
going to happen, actually.
Yeah. So I think you can move off him in tournaments. It's
But the
also
thing
just like,
is, if we get 2-1-0 results again, where do you want to go? Do you want to go with the
right.
team that's going to have the most opportunities, which is assumed to be
Yeah.
Benfica, or do you want to try and guess the goals, kind of what happened today with Coman? And so,
Yeah. And even today, because Coleman was the only forward that did anything. Messi was on all the winning lineups with 10 points. Even Neymar was on winning lineups in qualifiers. He had like 7 points or something.
mhm.
Just because, like, you can get these 2-game slates. You get slates like that all the time when there might not be a goal from a forward. So yeah, you want the guy who's going to get you 8 points or whatever. But what do you think about the defenders, though? You asked me about the center backs. I just want to say, like, for myself, it's always a tough question to answer because, like, my whole DFS soccer career, I've not been playing center backs. Like from the start, I've been making money by playing fullbacks all the time. So that's why my answer is that way a lot of times. But I've been playing center backs more, and I look for spots to do it, and it gets you different lineup constructions. So I do, and they score goals as well. So I do like it in the bigger tournaments, but just like on a slate like this in general, when you don't have a lot to spend up for, I don't like to force it. I just want to lock in my raw points. So yeah, my initial thought is to play 2 fullbacks on this slate.
Yeah. Okay.
They're not in that great. Like, would it shock you if these fullbacks don't do great? It wouldn't shock me. Like, we're talking about, yeah, like it wouldn't shock me if none of those fullbacks put up over 10 points. So I mean, there is an argument for it.
Yeah, I guess I would just say that it's probably it was maybe easier to spend down on a fullback today because we had the Messis and Neymar.
Yeah, I think
So
it made
you
more
had
sense
you
today.
yeah, and I guess something like a Coman or something or whoever at utility kind of a thing. So that led to, a super spend down at defender. But today or for Wednesday slate, or do you need to go down at for a center back? I don't think so, unless you just go all in on the expensive Benfica guys like Guedes. You do both Guedes and Neres, and I don't know.
I will be playing some center backs though, just because I'm thinking about now in the big GPP, just because like on this slate, I'll make lineups where just one team keeps a clean sheet, and then I'll play the keeper from that team, the fullback, and then pair him with the center back because like a center back with a clean sheet probably gets close enough to those other fullbacks without clean sheets on this slate. So like I'll make lineups. I think it makes sense to make lineups like that.
So who's the goalkeeper that stands out to you? Are you just looking to, because in most situations you're going to have money for Vlachodimos? Are you looking at probably Vlachodimos in cash games, but is it still the route in tournaments, or do you want to do something else?
Like I'll correlate it to the lineup for sure. If I don't have any Bruges, then yeah, just play Vlachodimos. It just makes sense.
I mean, if Mignolet is going to make 5 saves, let's just plug him in at 4,100.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that either. Like either one of those goalies. If you have lineups that are going for goals in the Dortmund Chelsea game, I don't know. It seems like I know both these totals are under 3, but it just feels like the Dortmund Chelsea game has like more of a chance to be 2-2. I don't know. Do you disagree?
The Dortmund Chelsea game? No, I'd agree with that. I mean, Bruges just haven't really been scoring, and they, as we said, I mean, they didn't allow a goal in 5 of their 6 Champions League games. It seems like their league games have been a little more low scoring. Then we got Benfica away from home, which I think is already a little more defensive than when they're at home. So, I mean, I kind of said at the top, just on the surface level, it's like we kind of just think that Dortmund matches are a little higher scoring, and I think that's, I don't even know if it matters if that's what the public thinks, because Benfica are the biggest favorite. So maybe just trying to guess percentages just probably doesn't matter on this slate.
I don't think it matters. I mean, who's going to be popular on this slate?
Right. No one. Joao
Like
Felix, I guess.
João Felix and Benfica. Is that going to be like the popular route? The same as cash game route, basically.
Yeah, when depends how many
I
Chelsea
mean, like
fans are out there playing this slate.
these are yeah. I don't know, man. I don't feel great about this slate or either of these games. I mean, it wouldn't. I said maybe that Chelsea game could be 2-2, but it wouldn't like surprise me if it was 0-0 either. Um, I I don't know.
Yeah, it's a problem. So for tournaments, if you're stuck in one of these spots in utility or something, sitting at, let's say, sitting below, I mean, I guess we could say Urim Chuck here, 5,500, just like you got 5,400 left for your utility spot. What should you do in this sub 5,400 range? Because I'm just looking at it right now, and it's either you got to change your lineup, or
Sub 54.
yeah.
Yeah. You kind of got to change your lineup, right?
Either that, or you're gonna have 1K left, and
Buchanan.
right,
Buchanan is what I would say, and
okay,
he's
yeah,
all the
you
way
go
down to
down.
41.
Yeah, he probably seems like the reasonable tournament play.
Yeah, he seems
But I
like the
mean,
reasonable.
do you want the? I mean, this isn't like a 4 game, 5 game slate or something. I mean, as we said, what if it's 2 lower scoring matches, which seems fairly possible? Would you rather get like floor points from a Chiquinho, or even like a Ba at 4,500
Yeah,
in case you have?
I want to get the guys with the best floors on this slate. The problem is I just don't know who those guys are. I'm just not as confident. Like, yeah, I agree with the strategy. Play the guys with the best floors on this slate. That's the right strategy.
Play the most skilled players, and you'll be good to go. What about Ryerson? I just pulling up his game log here. He does a bit in the attack here, so
Yeah, he seems fine for 4K.
yeah.
He's 4K.
Ryerson or Chiquinho?
Uh, I mean, probably Chiquinho.
Are we selling ourselves too much on Chiquinho?
No, man, this slate is just gross though.
Do we have exact numbers for Chiquinho in group play? Could be like 10 fouls committed every game.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything. I haven't watched Benfica once in the league, so like I can't be much help. I don't have much insight here. These slates are tough for me, especially the first ones. I need like also today, like I felt that way with the Bayern PSG game. I mean, the first 60 minutes of that game, it looked like it was Man City against somebody. I mean, it was just complete domination
Against
by
Nottingham
Bayern.
Forest?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think the stats at half were PSG had one shot and it wasn't on target. They had 3 touches in the box in the first half.
Yeah.
And you know, I should have known that, but didn't. Played a little bit too much PSG because of it. It's going to be the same thing. Like, I'm just not sure where the floor points are in these games. Like, Benfica is going to pretty much dominate possession, you'd think. I don't know how it's going to go other than that. But like, that's what I said. I don't know Benfica. I don't watch them.
Well, that's why you're going to grind tonight and watch
No, but you can
games.
just look and like you and Jack mentioned. I mean, John Mario is on fire. I mean, play him, play one of the forwards.
Yeah, I feel like this is a 2-game slate, and you want to play the guy who is scoring in every game he plays, and that was kind of I don't know if I want to say Coman, but Coman was making the score sheet in all of his games, and that's something like a Marcus Rashford. And it's like, well, the guy's scoring in every game, so I mean, just play him, get the 12 points, and figure out the rest. And I mean, Mario's 7,100. Who else do you want on your team? First off, so yeah, that's kind of what it comes to. So how different is your tournament lineup going to be from cash builds here? Or will it be different?
Yeah, I mean for tournaments, I think I like some Chelsea guys if I'm looking for a goal. I don't know. I again, like, maybe I'll get Chelsea right this time, but probably not. I don't know. I'm going to go with the idea that they're a little bit better than we've seen recently. Like, maybe they turned a corner. Like, they seem to be playing better these last few games, especially with Enzo and some of these newer guys. So, like, I can take some chances on Chelsea. Bruges at home. Like, I'll play Noah Lang, especially if he's on set pieces. You know, he's got a little bit of a floor. He's a talented player. Bruges have sort of been riding their luck in the Champions League, but it could continue. I mean, it might not take much on this. Like, the same, like what we see today, 2-1-0 games. You might see that again. So, like, what I would want to do is build a lineup that with mostly floors, and then throw in sort of 1 or 2 random guys. Like I like Jude Bellingham for tournaments. I mean, just arguably the best player on the entire slate, and he comes up with goals, even though he's a defensive midfielder mostly, but he plays everywhere. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I'm just throwing random thoughts out there. Like, what do you think?
Nothing. I don't think anything. This is this is a weird slate.
Dude, like, these are honestly, these are tough games to break down, or to, like, I mean, you would, like, if this was a 6-game slate, I wouldn't want to play any of these Dortmund forwards on a 6-game slate. Like, 8,900 for Haller. All the other guys get subbed. Adeyemi, he's okay. He's talented, but, you know, against Chelsea, I don't think it's the greatest spot. So it's not a spot that I would target on a bigger slate. Maybe you force it here. I don't know, man. If you have some insight to these games, go with it, because you might not need much. Like, you might just need 1 goal from some random spot.
Yeah, I was doing some digging in terms of minutes. Noah Lang and Buchanan seem to be going pretty much 90 every game, so that's another bonus for them if you're in the whatever 5,800 range or 4,100 range at forward, the biggest underdog on the slate.
I
So,
think both those guys are fine to play in
mhm,
tournaments. Yeah,
right. I
I
mean,
would.
we even
I will
mentioned
play.
it in cash games, though. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yep. Like if you needed it, I will definitely play them in tournaments, though.
yeah, it's not like Benfica are the untouchables here. Like if you're getting 90 minutes home, you got to think that those guys come, 5 to 10 points floor, maybe. You got to think that they at least
Right.
touch the ball
And
in an attacking spot.
also, yeah, you might not need a goal from them. They're
Also, when
cheap
was the
enough.
last time? Right, yeah. Like when was the last time has Bruges ever been in the knockouts of Champions League?
Hmm.
I mean, this is a pretty big game for him here.
Right. It's a huge game for them. I like playing guys
So,
in these types of spots.
yeah, I just don't think you want to completely avoid them and just
No,
automatically plug
there's not a
in.
lot of opportunity cost either.
Mhm.
Like you might not need a goal from that forward position, just like today. I mean, Havertz is midfield eligible, so you might not get a goal from Chelsea forwards. If Haller doesn't score, you won't get one from Bayern.
Right. I think the only thing that could decide the slate is if we get. I mean, I think even if Haller scores, I mean, he's going to have like 15, 16 points. I don't think he's going to break it, but I think if Benfica get rolling and like either Guedes or Neres, either one of them, make the score sheet a couple times, I think that would be the one thing to worry about, but I'm just not sure this is just going to be, Benfica smash 3-0. It's just
I
a
don't really
Port
think it is, just like a gut
right.
feeling.
It's just a Portuguese. I don't trust the Portuguese teams away from home. I feel like I always said that in group stages, and there's a lot of times when that wasn't the case. But it just seems like they play. I actually went to a Benfica home match, but it just seems like they're just noticeably better. I mean, you could say this about any team, really, but Portuguese teams, Benfica, noticeably better at
No,
home and
I
harder to trust away from
completely
home.
agree with you. I completely agree with you. And like just in general, um, like underdogs in cups at home, like they get up for those games. Like, um, I don't know. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And then the Dortmund match, I don't know. What if we have two scoreless draws? Like, what's going to win? Is like an Enzo Fernandez lineup going to win? If Gallagher starts, would you play him? What if like ZH doesn't start? It's Felix, so you have the potential of Gallagher to take some sets.
Yeah, had when Felix was taking those sets, was Gallagher in? I don't think so.
I don't think Gallagher's been playing. I guess he played 11 minutes, so it's hard to tell. I guess Gallagher really only started when Felix was suspended, so we really haven't
Yeah,
seen them together too much.
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't be too excited about playing him. Not at defensive mid.
We haven't actually talked much about Havertz, who is midfield only and 6,900 tournament play.
Yeah, I think definitely. Maybe one of the better tournament plays. You get in a center forward at midfield. One of the guys, he's got what
Do
are
you like
his
him more than any of these Dortmund guys? How much are you going to be playing any of these Dortmund guys, Brandt included?
I'm more on the Chelsea side, to be
Mhm.
honest with you.
Yeah, I mean all these guys: Royce 73, Brandt 68, Bellingham 65. It Yeah, I mean, do you want to pick one of those guys out and hope that guy scores? Do you want to stack a couple of them? Probably not. It doesn't feel like that's the spot you want to be in, but anything
I
can
would
happen.
yeah, I wouldn't just personally I wouldn't want to stack, but picking one out seems fine.
I guess on one side of it, you could say, what if there's early goals from either game here? What if Benfica score in the first 10 to 20 minutes? What if Chelsea score in the first 10 to 20 minutes? And then you're at a point. I mean, I said this yesterday about Tuesday's slate. You're at a point where, some of these guys that we're not really talking about for cash games, like they can rack up 4 points because the other team is sitting back a little more already with a 1 goal edge. And I mean, we kind of got that we got that with the Tottenham team, really. I don't think if AC Milan scored that early goal that the Tottenham floors would have been the same. So again, this is a thing where you want to script this kind of stuff out. This isn't, just plug and play and hope this guy does that, hope this guy does that. You want to kind of correlate what's going to happen here. So
yeah, and I think
sure,
especially
maybe
on a
Havertz
slate
gets
like
that.
this.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say maybe that Havertz gets the early goal and like you're fading everyone else in Chelsea, but then you get Brandt or something, you get Guerrero, you get all the set pieces for Dortmund, maybe even no one. I don't think there's gonna be too much Bellingham love or something like that. So
Yeah, I think that's exactly what you want to do on a slate like this. It's more important to script both games. Definitely.
holy cow, 56 minutes. You got anything else, Ryan?
Man, I don't know. Feels like we just rambled about a whole lot of nothing.
That's why I'm surprised it's been an hour. I was like, did we
Yeah,
even
I mean,
accomplish anything?
I don't think so. I mean, slate's kind of a nightmare, to be honest.
All right. Any last thoughts? I think we got it though. I think we got it here. You can find Ryan at Ryan Belongia on Twitter. I am at Zdroik. RotoWire.com/soccer trial. Free 48-hour trial to get these cheat sheets and a little bit of everything else. All these stats. And then once you're in, RotoWire.com/chat to get into our Discord. I think we had a new subscriber in our Discord. Hopefully he won. He posted his lineup before the game. Hopefully that guy won. Not sure what the final result was.
We had a guy take down the main GPP today.
Oh yeah, we had a lot of RotoWire winners. One of our guys, Big Z, took down the 10K. Hopefully, fingers crossed there was no stat correction, but
Right, yeah.
we
That was
had we
nice
had
though.
we had a bunch of winners. So hopefully, let's get this again. Hopefully,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
the show.
we gave out the entire cash game lineup, so maybe I guess it wasn't that bad of a podcast.
Yeah, so there you go. Win all those cash games, win all those double ups. There you go. But so after this Champions League, we got Premier League stuff. We'll be back Friday, Premier League DFS. We got Thursday morning a betting show, Kits and Wagers. Check those out. I just gotta say, I'm just gonna do all this promotion. I'm 41-19 on Kits and Wagers. I just gotta promote that a little more to get that record out into the
That's
world
crushing.
because it's a crazy number.
That's
and
crushing.
honestly, it doesn't make sense, but that's how it goes. But Ryan, thanks for the show. Good luck in the slate. Hopefully, a little better than Tuesday. And I don't know. Let's go, Joe Mario. I guess that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah, thanks. Good luck, everybody.